What if I told you? You didn't fall into this situation. You were led into it, step by step, on purpose. And right now, you're not just watching this video. You're inside one of the stages, the overthinking, the confusion, the emotional exhaustion. That's not random. That's design. And today, I'm going to show you the 6 stages of narcissistic abuse so you can finally see exactly where you are and why it feels almost impossible to leave. But listen carefully, because the most dangerous stage is not where it starts. It's where you think it can still be saved. This doesn't begin with love. It begins with selection. And here's the part most people never realize. They didn't choose you randomly. They studied you, your empathy, your patience, your ability to love deeply, even when it hurts. And then they made a decision, because people like you don't give up easily. You met them on a normal day, nothing special, just a conversation that somehow felt different. They noticed things about you that others didn't. The way you smiled, the way you listened, the way you cared a little too much. And you remember thinking, finally, someone who sees me. But what you didn't see was how closely they were watching. They weren't just admiring you. They were learning you. Every weakness, every emotional need, every place where love could reach you the fastest. And by the time you felt chosen, they had already decided. And they didn't choose you because you're weak. They chose you because your love is strong enough to tolerate pain. You forgive quickly. Explain yourself too much. See potential instead of reality. Stay. Even when something feels off, and in the beginning, it feels like fate, like someone finally gets you. But what you don't see yet is this. They're not connecting with you. They're mapping you. And once they understand you, that's when stage 2 begins. This is where they hook you. Fast, intense, addictive. It doesn't feel normal because it's not. Yes, it feels like constant attention, endless messages, deep emotional conversations too early, future plans within days. You're different. I've never felt this before. You're exactly what I've been looking for. And suddenly, you feel seen, chosen, important. It started like a dream. Good morning texts. Every day. Long conversations that lasted for hours. Laughter that felt effortless. They told you things no one had ever said before. You're everything I've been searching for. And for the first time, you believed it. You started imagining a future. You felt safe, excited, alive. But then one night, you paused, and a small thought crossed your mind. Why does this feel so perfect, so fast? You ignored it, because losing them already felt like losing something real. But here's the truth most people never recover from. They didn't fall in love with you. They created a version of themselves that you would fall in love with. Everything feels perfect, too perfect. And deep down, you feel it. That quiet voice, this is moving too fast. But you ignore it, because for the first time, you don't want to lose someone. Emotional question. Have you ever met someone who felt like everything you needed, only to later become everything that broke you? That's not coincidence. That's stage 2 doing exactly what it was designed to do. And just when you're fully attached, everything changes, not suddenly, but slowly enough to confuse you. This is where the damage begins. and most people don't even realize it's happening. At first, it's small, and they reply slower. They seem distant. The energy shifts, and you feel it, but you don't question them. You question yourself. What did I do? Did I say something wrong? And then it escalates. The compliments turn into criticism. The affection turns into silence. The warmth turns into coldness. You're too sensitive. You're overreacting. You always do this. And here's where it gets dangerous. You don't pull away. You try harder. You become more patient, more understanding, more forgiving, because you're chasing the version of them from the beginning. One day, they didn't reply. You checked your phone again and again and again. Hours passed. Then came a short, cold message. No warmth, no energy, just distance. And you told yourself they're just busy. But deep down, you felt it. Something had changed, so you tried harder. You became softer, more patient, more understanding. You reread old messages, just to remind yourself of who they used to be. And slowly, without realizing it, you stopped being yourself and started becoming who they needed you to be. Old messages, just to feel something again. You hold on to memories because the present feels empty. You blame yourself for problems you didn't create, and slowly, without realizing it, you start losing yourself. Deep question. When did you stop feeling secure and start feeling anxious all the time? Because that's the moment. And once your confidence is weakened, control becomes easy. This is where things stop being subtle and start becoming psychological. They don't just hurt you, they reshape how you think. Gaslighting. That never happened. Blame shifting. This is your fault. Silent treatment. Emotional withdrawal suddenly. You're apologizing, even when you're right. You're explaining yourself, constantly. You're walking on eggshells, just to avoid conflict. You remember the first time you apologized for something you didn't do. It felt strange, but you said it anyway, because you didn't want to argue. Then it happened again and again, until one day, you found yourself explaining your feelings like you were on trial, and no matter what you said, it was wrong. You started thinking, maybe I am the problem. You stopped telling your friends what was happening because you didn't even know how to explain it anymore. And the scariest part? You started believing them more than you believed yourself. And here's the scariest part. You don't trust your own mind anymore, and you start thinking, maybe I am the problem. And that's exactly where they want you, because once you doubt yourself, you become easier to control. They don't always isolate you physically. They isolate you emotionally. You stop talking about it. You stop asking for help because you're trying to protect the version of them you still believe in. But eventually, even that version disappears. Stage 5. This is the stage that breaks people because it doesn't make sense. After everything, they pull away, cold, distant, unrecognizable. Sometimes they leave suddenly. Sometimes they fade slowly, but the result is the same. You're left with questions. What happened? What did I do wrong? You replay everything, every moment, every conversation, trying to fix something that was never yours to fix. The message was short, cold, almost emotionless. And just like that, everything ended. No closure, no explanation, just silence. You stared at your screen, reading the same words over and over again, trying to understand how someone who once felt like home could disappear like a stranger. You wanted answers. You needed clarity. But all you got was emptiness. And then a question that wouldn't stop repeating, was any of it real? They didn't leave because you weren't enough. They left because you were no longer serving a purpose. And that realization cuts deeper than anything else. But just when you start picking yourself up, something unexpected happens. Stage 6. They come back. And this is where most people get trapped again. A message, a call, an apology. I miss you. I've changed. I made a mistake. And suddenly, everything you felt in the beginning comes rushing back. Hope, emotion, attachment. Just when you started healing, their name appeared again. A message, simple, familiar. I miss you. And suddenly, your heart reacted before your mind could. Memories came rushing back. And the laughter, the connection, and the beginning. For a moment, you forgot the pain. You forgot the confusion. You forgot why it ended. And all you felt was, maybe this time, it'll be different. But deep down, there's a quiet voice asking, or is this how it starts? All over again? But this is not love returning. This is control, re-entering. They don't come back because they value you. They come back because they lost access to you. And if you open that door again, the cycle restarts. Same stages, same pain, just deeper. If this felt personal, it's because it is. You're not imagining it. You're not too emotional. You're not the problem. You were pulled into a cycle designed to confuse you, weaken you, and keep you stuck. But here's the shift. The moment you recognize the pattern is the moment you stop being controlled by it. So ask yourself honestly, which stage are you in right now? And more importantly, how long are you going to stay there? If this hit you, type, I see it now, in the comments. Because the moment you admit it is the moment you take your power back. And if someone you know is stuck in this cycle, share this with them. You might be the reason they finally understand what's happening. And if you want more content that exposes manipulation like this, subscribe. Because once you see these patterns, no one can use them against you again. And remember, if this felt like your story, it's not a coincidence. It's awareness. And once you see the cycle, you can never unsee it.